Real Talk with Miss Sparkle. I am Gigi Sparkle, a transgender goddess of happiness from beautiful Southern California. This is where I keep things real, raw, and educational, focused on positivity and my story, my life, my journey. Or I guess it's my journey, my life, my story. But so welcome. Let's talk about um, last year, or I guess this year starts 4 years on Astradio. So yeah, 4 years now. Wow, lots changes in 4 years. Holy crap, so much change. Um, well, 3 years rather. In 3 years, so much change. So this starts year number 4, and lots have been going on. There's lots to, I guess, update you guys on. Um, I don't know if I want to talk about certain things, but because I don't know how it can look for the community. Um, I like to be open and honest and upfront about my experience, and my experience is my own experience, not everybody's experience. And there's outside factors that contributed to certain situations that have recently happened. Um, it's like those, yeah. And again, not everyone's going to go through the same life experiences because not everyone has had those external um, things happen to them. So it's hard. Like, do I share or do I just keep it quiet? You know, it's tough. Tough choices. Tough choices. Welcome, welcome, welcome. But yeah, so this is year number 4 on Astradial. Started December 22. So that's 3 years complete. And 4 years starting. Oh, yeah. That's so weird. Does that mean or does that make things darker? That's crazy. I can tell. I really can tell. Looks like it's darker. Welcome. Look. Um, trying to figure out what I want to discuss. So I'm just waiting. There are topics and things to talk about, but yeah, I don't feel comfortable talking about it right now. It's just weird, very weird. But we are gonna focus on this year. Happy 2026. We are going back to the full schedule, 7 days a week. I stepped back from that, trying to do 5 days a week because the 7 days was just a lot. But yeah, we're gonna go back to the 7 days a week. So I'm gonna try to do 360 days this year. Maybe like 358 days. We'll take 7 days off. So yeah, we're gonna do this little live show for 30 minutes with you guys. Discussing last year. So already this year is starting off way better than last year. This time last year, I was locked in the back of a box truck. Highly, like, drugged and unable to move freely. Um, Was there even blankets? I don't even know if there's even blankets. I can't remember. I don't think there was. There wasn't even any blankets. There was a mattress. At least there was a mattress in the box truck. But yeah, there was no blankets that I can recall. Um, yeah. Yeah, this is way better than last year already. Like I said, like being locked in a box truck, almost being trafficked for sex is very traumatic, extremely traumatizing. Um, had an extremely traumatic year last year, and like you guys probably wonder how I can trust anybody because I don't trust people much anymore, and like probably wondering like why am I so distrusting? It all starts off basically with the beginning of last year. I have extreme issues with loud noises. It causes panic attacks. Part of my hypervigilance and trauma. Animals are irritating, extremely irritating. Okay, back on track. um, yeah, so part of my trauma is that kidnapping and almost being sex trafficked. Along the lines of being lied to, manipulated and coerced, and lied to and lied to and lied to. So yeah, so the fact that, so that was 3 days, and that's almost 4 days, so I got out on the 5th, so it's January 1st to January 5th. So, sheesh. Yeah, no, I think that's, yeah, 5th. I'm not looking back at that, forget that. And then after that, we came down here to California, and then I went back up to Vegas, and then, oh, then the assault, then I had the assault situation. Yeah, trusting people has been very hard lately. And then, like, how's it going? We got, Chaka Live. Hello. So yeah, this, like I said, this year's starting off way better than last year. Because after that, yeah, I had the assault situation where I was beaten with a metal stick into the face. Like, so, adding to the distrust was the hospital with their poor treatment, and then the police with not even listening and paying attention, where they could have caught the guy, but they didn't want to listen to me, so they didn't catch the guy. So the guy was still out because the police just didn't do their job. Yeah, they totally pissed me off, and I put them on blast. Like, I called. They said they were on their way. They never showed up. They didn't even show up. So I called again. They said they were there. I'm like, no, they weren't, because I'm here. So they obviously were not here, because I am here. So they said they sent them again. They didn't show up. So instead of calling, I put them on blast on Instagram. I said, hey, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with Las Vegas police, but they don't even show up when you call them for assistance. Then they finally showed up, and they're like, hey, were you the one that posted on Instagram? Well, yeah. Where the heck have you guys been for the past hour? Like, the guy's long gone now. I'm like, I don't know how you expect to find him now. And they're like, oh, we were here, And we interviewed this person. Well, that person wasn't me. You should try to find and interview the person who was assaulted, not a random bystander. um, like, I don't know how you guys perform your job or your duties, but I would assume that interviewing the person who experienced the trauma or who was in the situation would get you better answers uh, than just interviewing random bystanders who claim they saw the situation. I understand getting like multiple perspectives on a situation, but still not interviewing the person who experienced the situation. Yeah, you know, because as they say, there are multiple sides to the story. You know, there's the one side, and like I guess you say like the defendant side and the prosecutor side, and then of course the bystander sides, and then the truth. Put those all together, try to find the truth or figure out the truth. But nonetheless, like the guy was closer when I first called, as opposed to sitting at home, probably playing video games, an hour later. You know, like there's no way for them to find the person who assaulted me. So I was really livid and pissed. So that caused distrust in the police system, which adds more distrust to people in general. And then, which is crazy because usually I praise LVPD for their quickness and their kindness and respectfulness. And like, that's the first time I've ever put them down out of my 10 years of living in Las Vegas. The only time I put them down was that last and final year. um, and then I had a guy basically lie to me just so he could sleep with me. Because the whole situation was a lie. He came in the bar. Nobody was in the bar. I was the only one there. So I sit in the corner to hide from everybody, like in the dark far corner where nobody really likes to hang out at. So I was hoping he'd go somewhere else in the bar. Anywhere else in the whole entire bar. But no, he comes over and sits near me. And then the machine he's on doesn't work. So he gets closer to me and he's like, I'm sorry, that one didn't work. I'm all, fine, yeah, it didn't work. But I'm like, you could have went the other direction. I don't know why I had to come this direction. And he's like, I'm not trying to hit on you, blah, 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 blah. And then he starts hitting on me. I'm like, so lie, 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 lie. And then, we have this conversation and like click a little bit. But then he says like, I'm not really looking to get into a relationship. I understand you just got a divorce. Like, it's cool. I kind of get it. But like, we do click really well, blah, 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 blah. And he goes home and he starts dating somebody at home. Like, lies. All the lies. And then, what happens in March? That's February. And so I came back home. And in March, I stayed here in March. I didn't go out back on Vegas until like April. Or did I go back in May, April? I went back in April. And then in April, so April, I believe, March or April, I think. That was the actual. And then I got hospitalized for dizziness and like dehydration. And then I didn't go in May. I didn't go in June. I went back in July and hospitalized again in July. And then after that point, I was like, I didn't go back to Vegas after that at all. So August I spent with a friend in Big Bear. Had a decent time until he like, you know, I always say that people can be fake for up to like 2 weeks, 1 month tops. But 2 weeks generally is like when they show their true colors of who they really are. So sure enough, like 3 weeks, he made it past 2 weeks. But 3 weeks is when like he started showing who he truly was. Like he was just a controlling jerk. And I was like, like I was basically stuck there waiting for him to send me home. And like he just wouldn't. And I'm like, you suck, man. And so after 6 weeks of being up there, he finally like gives me a ride home. So I come home, and then that's mid-September. So August to mid-September, I was up there for like said 6 weeks. It was beautiful though. I loved Big Bear. It was really nice and lovely. Get back down here, and then September, not much happens. October, that's when depression starts to kick in for me, because that's the month where my best friend died, and when my kids were kidnapped. And so, like, yeah, lots of traumatic events happen in October for me, and that's when I start to spiral really, really badly. And this year was an extreme spiral. Bad, manic depressed state. So bad that I totally blacked out all of Christmas week. The entire week, I can't remember anything from Tuesday until like this past Sunday. I can't remember anything. I don't remember the week at all. Um, so yeah, it was quite a traumatic year. So 2026 is definitely gonna be much better. So I, of course, can't. There's no way a year can start off worse than last year, than possibly a near-death experience. It's probably the only way to start the year worse than last year. No, I don't even think a near-death experience would be worse than being kidnapped, raped, and nearly sex trafficked. Oh, and drugged. Can't forget that part either. I don't think anything could be worse than that. And I don't think near-death can be worse than that, because death would be better than that. But near-death, there's no way that could be a worse experience than being drugged, raped, kidnapped, and almost sex trafficked. Can't get worse than that. I really can't think of anything. I really can't think of anything that could be more traumatic than that. So yeah. Alright. Just had to share last year's experiences with you guys on why I have such high trust issues. There's still some major details I didn't discuss. Maybe we'll save those for another time. Depends. But thank you so much for joining me. We're going to be doing, like I said, I'm trying to do daily shows now instead of just doing shorts. I will do a long form video discussing certain traumatic events and my year, just to showcase it more, or I'll just post this, whatever. I'll probably just post this. That'd be easier. I just want to say thank you guys so very, very much for joining me and being a part of my life and being here with me. Yeah, here's to 2026 to hopefully be better. There was, I forgot to discuss the one attempt of having a boyfriend in November. That was the bad experience in November. When I started to feel a little bit better, there was a guy who I was like attempting to see, but like he kept lying and gaslighting me every freaking week. Every week he was gaslighting, and like I can't say he was a boyfriend because we never really dated. We didn't do anything. We saw each other once a week for 3 weeks. So we only saw each other 3 times. We went on a date once. One time we went on a date. So like I can't call that a boyfriend. Like that's barely even, that's basically just a booty call. So that's so super disrespectful. That's basically all it was to him. So yeah, he gaslighted the shit out of me, adding more traumatic distrust, trauma issues. Because he blatantly lied to my face and said I love you. Deliberately lied to my face. So 2026. Alright guys, we're gonna head on out. I love you guys. Thank you for joining me. Remember guys, keep that spark of kindness in your heart. Give someone a compliment, anyone a compliment, any little compliment will do. Not only does it bring joy to their heart, also brings joy to your heart as well. Get a minimum of 12 hugs in each and every day. Those hugs and physical contact helps boost self-confidence and self-worth within yourself and your inner circle, especially the little ones. It helps the little ones know that they are cared for and loved, preventing suicidality and suicidal tendencies and thoughts. Also, don't forget to tell your loved ones that you care about them and that you love them. Those words can be life or death. They're meaningful, extremely meaningful. And most importantly, don't forget to tell yourself, I love you each and every day. Look in the mirror, look into your left eye and tell yourself, I love you. I'm Gigi Sparkle, the transgender goddess of happiness from the beautiful Southern California. We're sparking out. Bye. Love you guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow. I missed the button.